Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
This video is a continuation of part 1. If you haven't had a chance to watch it, I highly recommend that you watch part 1 before continuing to part 2. Thank you. People are acting like I'm an upper stalker, but we gonna find out, y'all, that there's allegations that he actually is. Allegations, y'all, because I heard that he likes to sue people, so I have to keep it alleged. Now, they're trying to let us know that he is not a stalker, even though he was following her every move. But he's not a stalker, guys.
My friend does not have social media. Like, she doesn't have Instagram, and I never ever post my location for safety reasons.
Okay, we just gonna have to believe sis, but my spidey senses are telling me otherwise, because when we get to his ex's story, it's gonna sound wildly familiar.
I was dealing with, before I met Liz, I was in a relationship that was just so difficult for me. I had this attachment that I had such a hard time like really growing through and away from.
Okay, y'all are gonna bookmark this part. Now, I'm trying to get the timelines right, because she said when she started dating her ex, he was also dating someone, and now he said that a year ago he was dating someone, which he was. He was. And we're going to get to that soon. He had this type of attachment style that led him into Ibiza last summer. Now, we don't get the whole story because, again, he's just glossing over it. But I guess we can try to guess what type of attachment style he has based on his infatuation and obsession. So I'm going to let you figure that out yourselves. Now, let's continue.
And I was just kind of following this path that led me into Ibiza last summer.
So, in a nutshell, he said that he got scammed or whatever by some people he met in Ibiza, and then he was supposed to board his plane, but he had left a backpack by airport security, so he felt like he was being led down a path that he was supposed to follow, because he's getting all philosophical and whatnot and trying to show that we're meant to be. This is kismet. This is fate. This is something that God was leading me through, because sis is a very faithful servant and she comes from a Muslim background. So she don't play about God. And now he's making it appear as if this was definitely God-led.
And I was like, you know what? Time to end my trip, go back to America. I went to go get my bags off the plane so they didn't go to Mykonos without me. And I realized I had left my backpack.
Let's remove the fact that they were at the same airport, and maybe it was a coincidence. But he's been watching her this whole time. Everything about it seems like it was orchestrated. But sis is sitting here like this, because she in love, y'all. He fits all of the criteria in her notebook. She's in love. Sis is in the sunken place, y'all. We can't save her here. And I just feel so sorry for her right now, because we all know what's coming.
She's sitting by her friend, and I thought, oh my God, that's Liz.
See, this is why I can't buy his story, because he talking about, oh, he'd have made it to where he needed to go, and then he just felt this push. He just felt like he was in a new dimension.
I vaguely watched like one picture, so I didn't even know what you really
Did you watch
like.
any of my videos back in the day?
No, never.
Okay.
So let me get this straight. You say you didn't really know him. Then he looked like a nerd to you, and you didn't pay attention to him because you had another boo 3 years ago. So you was in another relationship, a whole other situation. Then you meet him at the airport. He recognizes you even though you have a hat and a mask on. Very suspicious, but I digress. And then not only did he say your name and you looked up, but you also said Landon, even though he looked different from the picture that you saw of him, because you said you just saw one picture of him. And then on top of that, he asked her, well, did you watch any of my YouTube videos? Sir, don't nobody know you like that. Listen, I know you have a lot of subscribers, but outside of your niche, people don't really know you like that, sir. So she wouldn't have known you. So what I'm going to conclude from this is that there's definitely a little bit of scheming going on. And this sounds like a scheme that Todd set up, because I can't for the life of me believe that he just randomly saw her at an airport with a mask on and a hat and was still able to recognize her. And this man has resources and money. I don't know how he knew where she was going to be, but I'll just say that this does not sound coincidental at all to me. Another red flag. So while they were in the midst of reuniting, because they knew each other on Instagram and somehow they became BFFs.
Before I even recognized him, I go like, Landon?
He dumped this whole situation on her, y'all, that he got scammed and he was a damsel in distress.
I felt so bad. Those people scammed you, and I was so sad.
And of course, remember, sis is a people pleaser. And she's also willing to go the extra mile. Remember, she said that she likes to put her cape on for people and she likes to save people. She's Captain Save-A-Ho. And she was saving him from the scammers. And she's like, no, don't go back to America. Please don't. And stay with us, me and my friend, even though we don't know who you are.
Liz was like, well, do you want to come to Santorini with us?
This was a movie to her. This was like a love story, y'all. When Harry met Sally, that's what it sounds like to me. She convinces him to stay in Santorini with her and her homegirl. Now, y'all let me know how y'all would feel if you were supposed to go on a trip with your homegirl and she done invited a random man that she met on IG to go with y'all on y'all trip, because I would have been heated.
Like, he said, I don't know if you said yes.
No, I didn't.
No.
I said, ooh, give me a second.
Now I know that's a damn lie. He acted like he was really thinking about it, like, ooh, I don't know. First of all, you said what you said for a reason. Let's be clear. You had an agenda. And then trying to act like, oh, I don't know. I would be imposing now, wouldn't I be? Yes, you knew you was going to get up in there. You knew you was going to go. Please. And even if she said no, you would have found a way to be like, oh, I ended up in Santorini because my flight got delayed. We had to stay in Santorini for a few days. Please. We all know the trick. So now he pulled the old trick on her, like, I just want to be friends with you because I'm just trying to look for like-minded people, and I'm introverted, so that's just my personality, because she said that he was weird and awkward when they were in Santorini. He was just on his phone playing chess.
He was so weird and awkward in Santorini. We'd all go out.
Come on,
And he
give
would
me
be
a
like
break.
playing chess on his phone.
She wanted to be outside because, you know, it's Santorini. Like, who wouldn't want to be outside and enjoy their vacation? Now, he definitely played upon her emotions, because remember, sis said that she didn't like when men were too clingy because of her ex, and that when a man is too nice to her in the beginning, she feels cringy. He's giving her that kind of push-pull feeling, like, I just want to be friends because that's going to excite her. She likes the chase.
And I wanted to just be friends with you, to be honest. And then
I was definitely not gonna be friends.
Red flag, Liz, red flag, because what you mean you was definitely not going to be friends with this man? See, she's just throwing all caution to the wind because she liked what he looked like. That's all that was. And she liked the feeling that he was giving her, because she says she's very feelings driven. This is dangerous, y'all. So you're going to ignore all the red flags that this man done showed up until now, because you're just going by your feelings, and your feelings are telling you he the one. So now they get into the fact that they feel like they manifested each other. She said that the second day in Santorini that they went out and they explored a bit. He helped her set up her merch. And then after that, they just kind of spent time together, and he felt like, this is the one. This is my wife. I want to get married to her. That's practically what he said.
I had this overwhelming sense that I was going to marry you.
This love story doesn't sound so lovey-dovey to me. It just sounds like a disaster waiting to happen. But let's continue hearing more of their special connection. So now he repeats what she said in the previous video that we saw, where he felt like there were women out there like the wizard Liz when he went through his breakup. And I'm going to let you hear it from the horse's mouth now, because remember, before it was sis saying it, but now we're going to hear him say it.
I was dealing with this relationship, and I said out loud, you know, at the end of the day, whatever I'm dealing with is okay, because there's still girls like the wizard Liz out there.
Red flag again. I'm tired of saying red flags, y'all, because this whole story is a big red flag.
Like, in my head, you were always such a, like, an ideal partner, ideal woman, ideal wife.
Sis was saying that, you know, when you manifest somebody or something, you got to take the opportunity right then and there. You got to pounce on it, because it's not going to come again. And so if she had not taken the opportunity to invite him to Santorini, because she's leading, and remember, in her videos and her advice that she was giving us, she told us not to do that.
And then that thing is right in front of you. You have to take that opportunity.
Sis, you wouldn't have missed out on him because he would have stalked you again. He would have found you again, trust and believe me. But you didn't give him that opportunity to do that because you were so, again, hot bungy. And I just don't understand where this impatience came from, because you said that you were not going to date again until you were healthy. And now here we are. So now they get into their new situation and what it's been like living together. And she said that she misses her alone time because she doesn't really like it when she's all up under somebody and when somebody's constantly around her.
I don't want like someone constantly around me. I love my alone space.
Another interesting thing that I've noticed in a pattern is that they're both homebodies and they both work from home. And so they're constantly around each other. Remember, her last relationship was the same way. Now, I don't know what this man did for a living, but I do know that they were up under each other. And now it sounds like these two are repeating the same pattern.
I think also we both work from home. Like,
Well, we're also homebodies too.
yeah,
so like
we
Liz
don't
and I,
go really anywhere.
Sis is literally repeating the same relationship that she said that she did not want to be in. And that she told us that we shouldn't be in. But yeah, here she go in that relationship.
So I really think that God like sent you right in front of me. That was the perfect thing, because if it wasn't you, it would have been no one. I don't like going on dates with strangers.
yeah. We were both talking about that when we first were dating, how we were like, yeah, we're never going on first dates again.
See, sis be talking out the side of her neck. This is why. Listen.
Like, this is it.
Yeah, I don't like. I just don't like. Imagine like constantly sitting with someone, listening and stuff, and then constantly dating. Like I have friends that do that. They're constantly dating, and there's just when they talk to me, I'm just like, that sounds like a nightmare to me.
I'm going to tell people right now, you gotta be careful what you say. Because a person like me, who is not only going to pick your story apart, but I like to investigate and I'm nosy. Those are deadly combos. Sis just said that she doesn't like meeting strangers. And if it wasn't him asking her out, then it would be no one. Now, remember, in her dating advice, she done told us to always keep your options open. Don't just date one man.
Keep your options open, okay? Who starts literally, like, you know what women do? They see one guy, they date, they go on one date, they're like, okay, this is the guy, I'm gonna marry him, have 7 children with him, whatever, he's my guy. You know what the guy does? Keep his options open, goes on another date, like sees this woman, whatever. Why? Because guys think with their mind.
And then now look at her. Weak in the knees. This is why you can't take people too seriously, y'all. The proof is in the pudding. Even me, you gotta put me to the test too. Make sure that the advice that I'm giving y'all, I'm also following it. Sis is down bad for this dude, y'all. She said she don't like to go out on dates. She don't like to meet strangers, when she done told y'all that y'all should be dating even when you meet people so you can have more options. Look at that. Ain't even following her own advice, and her own advice would have helped her out more. But going against it, why? Because that's not naturally who she is. She couldn't even meet the expectations of the archetype of a woman that you should be. That's wild. And another thing, she said that she told him that she's introverted and she likes to stay at home. But remember, with her ex, she wanted to be free. She didn't want to be in the shackles.
I told him, I was like, look, I'm very introverted. I don't really leave my house.
You really like to stay
Yeah.
upper hermit.
She didn't want to be confined to the shackles of the household. She wanted to be outside.
And this person, he doesn't have friends. Like, he's very antisocial. He doesn't like socializing. For me, I miss having friends. I miss like having relationships with women, especially.
Listen to this, y'all.
Like, my self-confidence became so low because I was just not allowed to be around other people. This is a thing that I've noticed with everyone around me, family, everyone. They always try to isolate me. Why is this? Because you can control an isolated person.
And this is just a year of healing. Her therapist, she says she goes to therapy, but she doesn't go to traditional therapy.
The way I chose my therapist, because my therapist is psychic.
She goes to a spiritual healer, and there's nothing wrong with that, because some people they like to do holistic methods of getting to the root of their medical issues. But I do want to bring up the fact that if you're going to do holistic things and go the holistic route, it is also beneficial to blend in traditional therapy as well, because sis is reverting back to her old patterns. She didn't change one bit. It's just the same man, different fonts. And look at how her behavior changed around him, giggling. Yeah, I don't like to go on first dates. I'm introverted. When she was telling y'all to go outside and be outside, please. One other thing that I've noticed with her, and this is just my speculation and opinion, is that she's one of those women, or appears to be one of those women, that when they start to date a man, they start to take on the same identity as the man.
He's just like so like me. It's really crazy.
And she did that with her ex as well. And now with Landon, everything that he does, she does. And she's like, oh, we're just so similar. We're just so similar. And mind you, in her videos, she's sounding very different.
But he still like goes out with his friends sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's where you win.
Yeah.
Because I only talk to my friends online.
Moving on with this Q&A. The next question was talking about if they ever experienced any difficult arguments or situations. And so Liz explained that they spent 3 months together in Switzerland. And remember, they both work from home. Just remember that. Now, when they were in Switzerland, you know, they couldn't have food deliveries, and on Sundays, like, things closed early. I guess Switzerland has different laws when it comes to that. They were basically essentially stuck in a house together, and they would argue a lot. They explained that they had a lot of arguments, and it would be about minor things. Now, that is also a red flag, because then we have communication issues. We can already see that. However, what really stood out to me as a red flag was when Liz said that her bae would have mood swings.
We should be talking through and figuring out together, and that's it. Like
His mood swings. He has mood swings.
Oh my goodness.
Crazy mood swings.
These are red flags, y'all. We can't sweep these under the rug here.
She loves mischief and chaos a little bit.
The fact that he said that Liz likes to cause mischief, what that mean? What does this mischief mean? And also, he said that she likes chaos. So he's basically framing it as sis does not like stability. Remember, she said that about her ex. In the beginning, she said that she didn't like that everything was normal. However, we later found out that this man was indeed love bombing her and that her intuition was just jumping out. Now, another thing I noticed was that she likes to date men who come from stable households. So remember, she likes to be the chaotic one, allegedly, because that's according to her and according to what he's saying now. Sis likes to be Buck. But he's trying to say it as if she's the one who is chaotic. But then she said he has crazy mood swings as a response. This is problematic, y'all. And the way that they're laughing about it, like, it's just very normal. And when I'm listening to it, I'm like, nah, this is not a normal response. Especially when you're having these arguments. Because remember, he said their arguments are just minor things. So you mean to tell me that y'all have arguments about minor things and then you have mood swings? That's what I'm hearing. Let's listen to a little bit more to see if we could get more context, because this already sounds very troubling.
Even if I'm sleeping and then say something just to get like energy, basically.
Sis has a problem, y'all. This is just based off of what they're saying and is behavioral. The fact that she wakes this man up just to start stuff, that lets me know that there's something going on up here that needs to be sorted out, because that is not a healthy way to have a conversation, especially when somebody is sleeping. So you mean to tell me while he's sleeping, you want to rile him up and start an argument for what? To get his energy? Now notice how when she said that he had crazy mood swings, he switched it back to her. So now we found out sis's issues, but where yours at? Because I need to know what these crazy mood swings were about. He doesn't want us to know what he did, and he doesn't want her to share it. And when you have two people who have mental health issues. Liz has expressed that, and Landon has also expressed that he's working on himself. So these are not allegations that I'm just coming up with. It can be very hard, especially when you're, one, just getting into this relationship, and two, trying to figure each other out. Now, I will be transparent. I will share with you guys that my husband and I, we had undiagnosed mental health issues for the first 3 years of our marriage. At first, we thought it was just communication because we're like, okay, maybe it's just, again, like them, small things. So we just thought that it was like, okay, maybe if I just change my personality, then we'll be able to get along better in certain situations. But then we really found out that actually it was undiagnosed mental health issues. And so that's why I talk extensively about mental health, y'all. I'm going through it. Whatever people go through, I done went through, y'all. And this is why it is important to me when I do case studies like these to highlight these type of situations, especially in this case, because we have two people who are still healing. Liz honestly shows signs of regressing to her patterns very easily. And it appears that this relationship is actually causing her to revert to her old patterns instead of moving forward. Okay, so next question was, what do they admire about each other? And so Landon said that he admires that Liz is a butterfly. He loves her energy. He said that already. He likes how she clicks her knees together. I guess touch, and she hops away. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but he likes that. He likes their deep conversations and esoteric convos. He loves her laugh, that she's beautiful, sweet, and funny.
When Liz is happy, she'll like click her knees together, and she doesn't realize that she's doing it, but it's something that I see every time you do it, and I'm just like,
I didn't notice anything about her as a person, you know, like what she likes to do. I don't know. I just see basically he loves the fact that he can emotionally dump on her and they can talk together about deep things and be in, you know, in conversations about different types of signs and wonders. And then also everything else was more so like physical attributes except for the sweet and the funny. All right, just notice that. Now, on Sis's side, she said that Landon is smart. She loves his brain.
The thing I love most about you is how smart you are. Sapiosexual. Yeah, that's me.
He's very helpful, so he looks like he's also a people pleaser.
And you're very kind. You're very, like, helpful with everyone. Like, if anyone needs help, he's, like, there immediately for his friends.
This is coming from a former people pleaser, y'all. I had to really get out of those shackles. Now, let's move on to the next part, because I thought that was very interesting.
being a provider, protecting.
Give you his heart if you would need it for living. No.
If we had a child on the way, then yes, for sure.
You would not give me your heart.
For sure.
I would not want you to die.
Would you give me your heart?
Yeah.
Red flag. What you mean if we had a child on the way, then you would give me your heart, and this is the person that I'm supposed to marry through sickness and in health, till death do us part. But where he draws the line is if she doesn't have his child, then he's not going to give her his heart, and he would rather watch her die. And again, this is just a hypothetical question, but it just goes to show you where his mindset is. And of course, I doubt that he's ever going to have to give her his heart, but it's just showing how much do you love this person? Are you willing to give your life for that person? There are people who are willing to give their lives for even strangers. And yet this man can't even give his life for the woman he's supposed to marry. Y'all gotta pay attention to these questions, because this just shows you enough. And he said he would only care if she had a child. Why? I'm assuming, my opinion is because then he don't want to be alone with the child and be a single father. So he gonna let her live so she could raise that child by herself and he'll be gone. This just told me all that I need to know, because when he was talking about her attributes, I had a little inkling. But now when he's talking about he wouldn't even give her his heart if they were a match, because he really wouldn't see that. And he talking about, oh, nobody else would. Sir, like I said, people would, just you wouldn't. Now, this next part was interesting. They were talking about jealousy and possessiveness. And Liz said she's not naturally a jealous person, But your boy over here is.
I'm not really a jealous person.
I kind of am.
You are.
Yeah, naturally I'm more
And
of a...
very possessive.
to be
And
honest.
very controlling.
But you're my girl.
Yeah.
Red flag! Red flag! So now we find out that our brother here, this man, is possessive and controlling. But she added an adverb. She said very possessive and very controlling. Does that not sound like her ex? The patterns reappearing in real time, y'all. We're seeing it in our face here. And he admitted it. He said, I kind of am. No, sir, you know you are. And another thing, he's like, but you're my girl, you're my baby. As if she needs to be possessed because she's his object. This is not healthy, y'all. Very unhealthy. She lacks self-awareness. I can already see that. Because the fact that she posted this Q&A, y'all, for the world to see, and then what ended up happening afterward transpired, we shouldn't be surprised that it did, because this man is showing you all his red flags in all of their glory. And sis is supposed to be the one to know better than the rest of y'all, because remember, she done told y'all what to look for in a man. She hasn't gotten to the place yet where she needs to be before getting into a relationship. She said it in theory, but in practice, it's a whole nother game. And that's why you have to not just talk, but act. The way I talk to y'all about mental health and taking care of yourselves and taking care of your relationships, I walk that. I do. I was diagnosed with ADHD and unspecified anxiety disorder, even though my psychologist actually thinks I have the general anxiety disorder. And my husband, he doesn't mind if I share this. Actually, he wants me to share this. He was diagnosed with OCPD. And imagine we were both living undiagnosed together because we both come from cultures where mental health is taboo. He comes from the Korean culture. And although I am Canadian and I lived in America, I am Haitian. My parents are from the Haitian culture. So when I tell you guys to seek help, get therapy, don't revert to the patterns or try your best not to, I'm taking my own advice, y'all. I know that in order for me to be the best version of myself, in order to show up for you all, I also have to make sure that I'm following my own advice. I can't tell you to go to therapy and I'm not going to therapy. I can't tell you to take your meds and I'm not taking my meds. So this is where we have to be honest, y'all. The greater lesson for you all is when you give advice, whether it's on a micro level or a macro level, you should also hold yourself to the same standards that you're holding others to.
I often will say things to him just to say them, like, oh, I'm gonna do this, and I was never gonna do that, but just to like make
This is
him
what
a
I was
little
talking
angry.
about.
Sis likes to play games. Red flag. This ain't it. Intentionally provoking someone just to get a rise out of them is extremely toxic behavior. The fact that you up here starting arguments just to see somebody get mad, and remember, he also gets buck. He's very controlling and possessive, and they also said that he has crazy mood swings. This is extremely chaotic behavior. But then remember the childhood that she comes from. And again, she's trying to make it seem like a lot of women do that. No, we don't.
Oh my
But
goodness.
then he gets actually angry, and then I'm like, wait a minute, now I also have to be actually angry.
So now with this pattern that I see is that she will rile him up, knowing that he's unhinged. But that's just according to the Q&A, y'all. That's what I see. I don't want people to say, what about him? Look, this is what's coming out of their mouths. I can only go according to that. Because sis didn't even explain about his mood swings and he brushed over it. So that's what I really want to know. But I can only go by what's in context here. So this is not looking good for sis.
Because why are you so angry?
Now I had to get actually angry.
Yeah, I was like, now I have to match your anger.
So let me get this straight. You get him mad on purpose because you're bored or you just want to irritate him to see how hot he is. And then when he actually gets angry and he shows that side of himself, because remember, we know that exists. then you have to get angry back. This is not healthy behavior. This is emotional abuse, y'all. When somebody is purposely trying to get a reaction out of you for their own pleasure, that is sadistic. And it's not behavior that should be taken lightly from either side. Let's just be clear here.
So there's actually this misconception that Liz is super mean to me and that I'm just this simp boy that just does whatever. In reality, I'm actually super mean to Liz. So
He bullies me.
that's what I do.
I love it. We bully each other. True life.
No.
I love you.
I love you too.
Provoking a reaction from someone is extremely troubling. Now, we have another hypothetical situation where he talks about where they will be when they're 80 years old. Sis said that she doesn't like his version of their future because in this version, she's in the castle that he will buy for her and their children and her hundreds of cats. But he's nowhere in the picture. He said he'll be on the moon.
This vision of you and I being 80 years old at the head of a dinner table, we're looking at our kids.
And then he's like, I'm gonna be on the moon.
Red flag. Because what you mean you gonna be on the moon? Again, even though this is a hypothetical situation, the answer is in front of you. He's not gonna be with you. That's what he's saying. He's going to be anywhere but around you, and on the moon means far away. So then he said, I was just joking. She said he was very serious, and I believe he was serious.
I said, I'm gonna go to space.
Why would my husband be in space?
He didn't see himself with her, even in their imaginary future. Y'all, case closed. The case is already closed, but again, this is a case study, so I have to continue it. We don't even need to get to the next part. This man done said enough, and sis done said enough. So sis goes on to say that, you know, sometimes she asks him a question to see if he cares, and he gives her the real answer, and she gets upset about it. And he said it might be because he has some type of Asperger's syndrome.
But he'll say like very seriously.
It's just how my brain works.
Yeah,
like
I
very
honestly. And I'm
Yeah.
like, that's not what you should say right now. Like, that's not.
Yeah, it's not like Asperger's clinically, but I'm super logical.
She's extremely beautiful, successful, has the world at her feet. She can go so many places, and yet she's with this man who is letting her know that even at 80 years old, he would be somewhere in space and not with her. Y'all. And then he goes on to say that he thinks that it's a toxic message to let women know that you can never trust a man or that he's going to cheat on you.
It's honestly a toxic message, this thing I've seen people saying of like, oh, you can never trust a man, like never trust your husband, like he may just cheat on you, you never know.
Meanwhile, y'all gonna see what this man ended up doing to her, but I thought that was very interesting that he said that. And he's speaking about himself, because look how his eyes get all shifty. He knew he was doing her dirty. He knew he was dead wrong even in that Q&A. Look at him. And had the nerve to tell us and gaslight us to tell us, oh, you should always trust a man. No, don't listen to that toxic advice. Why? So he's trying to prepare her not to listen to it so that he could ask her for her forgiveness when his foolishness was out in the open for the world to see. That's what that is. Now, am I saying never to trust a man? Hey, man, listen. At this point in time, men are not beating the allegations. And so, yes, you should be on guard. You should trust a man when he shows you that he is healthy and he is committed to you. But this man should have never been trusted. I done showed you all his red flags. And even then, you know, you never know, to be quite honest with you. So I can't fault women for thinking that, because unfortunately, cases and cases and cases have shown that you could trust somebody all that you want, and sometimes they will just deceive you. That does happen quite a lot. So I just thought it was very interesting that this man was already pleading his case. Remember at the beginning talking about relationships are not perfect, and now he talking about you shouldn't listen to the toxic advice of not trusting a man. And then look at him. Look at this man. Look at him. Now, In the next part, they ask each other, when did you know you fell in love?
I told this woman that I loved her within 36 hours of knowing her.
When did you know you fell in love?
I don't know how to even say it. When did you know you fell in love?
He couldn't even tell us why he was in love with her. That's why I said it's all infatuation and lust. Because look at how he flipped the question to her. Oh, I don't even know how to answer that. You answer that. Because you don't know why. Because you're in love with her for the wrong reasons. We already knew that. You can't even tell us this answer. And sis is just smiling and cheesing.
I fell in love when I realized I was in love.
Because I wouldn't have answered. I'd been like, hold up, I'm going to wait till you done because you need to tell me why you love me. But look at her. She got stars in her eyes. She's living in La La Land. She's in the sunken place already, y'all. She's been in the sunken place. But here we can clearly see it. Look at her eyes like that. Lord.
Landon had ordered me like 750 flowers. And I remember I was sitting there and I like kept looking at them during the day and I was like, oh my God, I think I'm actually like in love.
Now, we've heard all that they had to say on their Q&A. This Q&A was posted on May 24th. On May 27th, we learned that Landon was living foul. So we're going to get into the cheating allegations. Sis took to her Instagram to share a message with her supporters that read, I will never ever create a fake narrative for social media. I will not preach something and not take the advice myself. Landon decided to make a Snapchat account and reach out to a girl to meet up. He was just with me in London because they live long distance, by the way, y'all. Made a whole book about how much he loves me. Anyways, the girl reached out to me, to my friend today, showed us evidence. I guess she meant she reached out to the both of them. He called the relationship fake. Meanwhile, my cats are with him in Dallas. All my stuff is there in our apartment. And oh, I'm 4 months pregnant. So that's why she was smelling him and saying he stank. Because she had a high sensitive nose.
Gotta recharge. And she's like, oh, and by the way, it stinks in here.
Oh.
And she's like, yeah, I walked in, I almost threw up because you're so stinky.
And y'all know pregnant women are like bloodhounds. They can smell anything. He says he's incredibly sorry, but honestly, I feel like I didn't know him at all. I feel stupid for ignoring the signs and dreams I had that I even told him about. And he told me I was crazy. Listen to your intuition, women. Now you telling us this? Cause sis, I'm glad you woke up. Men want to lead the world but can't even control their lust. It's weak. A man that can't control his lust will never be able to lead. I'm absolutely heartbroken and shocked. My haters can go celebrate. Haha, so funny. I will always have the last laugh though. Why she gotta put that in there though? That was very unnecessary. Sis, I understand you're in pain, but you really ain't had to say that though. He lost everything and I gained everything, thank God. First off, congratulations, sis. You have seen the light. I'm glad you woke up and snapped out of your delusion. Because this man's been a red flag since the day that he messaged you on IG and since he stalked you in Athens. But let's decipher her message really quickly. She said that I will not preach something and take the advice for myself. I'm glad that she finally decided to take her own advice and walk away from him. Because sis, you were going out in a different way. And I'm so happy that you came back to earth. Another thing that I noticed is he called their relationship fake. You know why he called it fake? Because he was in it for the wrong reasons. We could already tell that. I don't need to go over that. We already did in the Q&A. So she was having dreams that he was creeping and her intuition was blaring. And he tried to gaslight her. But it was true. And I'm glad she wrote that. Listen to your intuition, women. That is true. Our intuition is essentially the key to our life. That gut reaction should always be listened to. Even if it's a false flag, even if it's a false alarm, I don't care what it is. Listening to your intuition will save your life, y'all. And now this is interesting where she said, my haters can go celebrate. Haha, so funny. Girl, F them people. Sis, nobody should be celebrating. We always have to remember that any of us can fall into this at any time. The fact of the matter is you can't control someone else. And you cannot control what they do. However, you can control your actions and what you do in your behavior. What I mean by that is you have to pay attention to the red flags and make sure that you put yourself in a higher percentage to have a successful relationship and outcome. This man should have never been chosen. She should have never said yes to him. And I know some people will say, well, he could have been perfect and this would have happened still. Possibly. However, we already knew the outcome with this man. So haters shouldn't be laughing because they should be taking notes and making sure they don't repeat this same pattern. And this man cheating on a pregnant woman is crazy work. He accomplished his mission, y'all. And he had a plan. He executed it. And now he's celebrating. So sis, instead of worrying about the haters celebrating, you should be worried about him celebrating. Because now he got you locked in. And this is what I'm talking about when I say that you got to be careful with your womb. Please be careful. Protect it at all costs, because this man should have never had access to that. There's more to this, y'all. So I had my screenshots out of sequence, so I have to hop back in via voice note to read the rest of Sis's message. Now, she wrote, thank you to Peyton for showing me early on what kind of man he is. Bless you, and may God give you everything you want and more in this life. Shout out to Peyton. Although I am going to give Peyton her props. Sis, we already knew this man was a red flag, but that's neither here nor there. Let's continue to the next screenshot that I have here. I'm going to sell my engagement ring around 100K and donate the money to single moms. More power to women. Amen. Amen, sis. Okay, let's help the village. Let's help the village. So I can't say nothing about that. Now look at the next message. And please don't send Landon hate. I still feel somehow responsible for his feelings, even though he was definitely not thinking about me or our child when deciding to make a Snapchat account yesterday. Sis, you still sitting out here feeling bad for these men. Chill. You need to go see somebody, because I don't know for the life of me why you feel bad for this man who cheated on you at your most vulnerable time of being pregnant, where your life is at risk, and you sitting here thinking about the hate he's going to get from the internet. Then why did you post this, sis, if you were so concerned? This is what I be talking about with the male identification and being male identified. It's like a bad dream, and I wish I could wake up, but I can't because it's reality. Maybe I shouldn't share this much, but I don't know. I feel close to you guys, and I do have my family right now. I'm just shocked, but please don't hurt him. Lord, that's not my intention at all. I still love him, but I have to choose myself. She gonna get back with him, y'all. Don't send hate to him. That's number one. And number two, saying that she still loves him, sis is going to get back with him, y'all. Because now they got a baby together. There's no clean break in this dynamic. So they going to have that baby mama, baby daddy type of love. And y'all know what I'm talking about. The one where they together but not together, but we don't want people to know that we together, but we together. And we together for the kids. I can already foresee the future. My Miss Cleo hat is on. So let's see what Landon had to say to her. And then after his apology, we gonna read the Snapchats that he sent that young lady.
I'm not going to come on here and ask for your forgiveness. I'm just going to come on here and ask for understanding.
Respectfully, sir, you can take that apology and put it in the trash where you now belong. Because let's go through this apology, y'all. Now, first thing is that he said that he did everything he could while Liz was pregnant, and he was pretty much waiting on her hand and foot.
Because I made a mistake, but that doesn't mean that I don't love Liz. I love her with my entire heart, and we have a baby on the way. And over the last 10 months, I have done everything I can to give this person all that I can and to make her happy and do all of this. And regardless of how much I care, I made a mistake.
And that he was seeking validation when he decided to text the young lady.
And in the middle of texting somebody I should not be texting, in this moment of fucking weakness, like seeking validation, and it's just a bad behavior that I can't believe I did it. But in the moment that I was doing it, I messaged that person that I was sorry and that it was wrong.
And he referred to her as that person. But sir, she wasn't that person when you was trying to get in them DMs. Let's talk about that now. Then he said that after he did his shenanigans, he prayed to the Lord because he needed to get forgiveness and he had sinned.
And I prayed to God that night for strength and clarity to never do that again.
Then he went on to say that it was a moment of weakness.
That is not who I want to be. It is not what I thought I was stronger than this. I thought I was smarter than this. And I let something build up inside of me that I indulged in.
See how he's framing it? Let's look at the steps that it takes for you to actually message someone. So you open your phone. You unlock it either by face or by password. Then you go on the app and then you scroll. Then you click on the person's picture. And then you click on the message. And then you type. And you know when you send a message, you send it. You also have the option to delete it. But this was on Snapchat, so I don't know if you have the option to delete a message. Y'all let me know. But somewhere in the messages, if it was truly a mistake after the first one, he could have been like, you know what, my bad. I didn't mean to message you. But he continued. Y'all are going to see the messages soon. What I'm getting from this is that he didn't want their business aired out because he thought Liz was going to forgive him. And I'm so happy sis didn't.
And it is weak and it is despicable. And in this, I'd like to just take full accountability. I don't think this should have been aired out, honestly. And there's so much. Oh my God, there's so much.
She stood 10 toes down. And for that, I respect you, sis. I'm happy you did that because even though she had her little foggy-headed moments, she woke right up because now she has a baby to take care of. And then he said he wants to be a great man. Cue the violin.
To say that I am not going to say, but I'm taking accountability regardless. This is not something that I want to promote or make seem like I identify with. This is not who I want to be, and I'm sorry.
Sir, get out of here. Listen, let's keep it real. You thought that she was going to accept it, and you just wanted to try a little bit of cheating. Because y'all know the big one is when you go and you actually go through with the act. But he just wanted to try just a little bit to see if he could get away with it. Because if you let them get away with that, they're going to just keep going and going. But then when he realized that she stood on business, that's when he started crying like a little baby.
I don't know how I could be such a fucking idiot at times. Like throughout my life, there are times where I just do things that I know I shouldn't. And I learn, but I shouldn't have to learn this way. So I'm sorry.
I know why you do stupid things, because you're a stupid person. Let's just say what it is. I know people hate to hear that word, and for some reason it's offensive, but stupid just means unintelligent. You are unintelligent. You're not smart. And you can't control your emotions. You have crazy mood swings. You're not a candidate to be a husband or father with this type of behavior.
The final thing I'm going to say, and I'll probably delete these. I love Liz more than I could even put words to, and I've shown her this, and I've tried my best to make her feel safe and happy and protected. And while yes, I made this mistake, I want to be a great man, and I'm not there yet. But I know that a great man is one that takes accountability. I know that a great man is somebody who makes a mistake and then can be forthcoming honestly. And although I felt bad, like I should have just said, hey, I've done this thing. I feel very bad about it. I'm sorry. Like I know what I did was wrong and this is not going to happen again, and I'm sorry. and that's how you should treat the people you love. I think all the people telling me to off and whatever for this thing that I am acknowledging is wrong, and it's not, it was 5-10 minutes of my life texting somebody that I don't give a fuck about, jeopardizing everything that I have. Like, it's just ridiculous. So yeah, I deserve the hate, and there's not a single person on this fucking planet that is more disappointed or upset. So I don't expect you guys to understand, but I hope you take into consideration that you can make a mistake and get better. And this isn't just a mistake, right? Like, this is breaking trust, but I realized what I did was wrong, and it's never gonna happen again. Doesn't mean it's okay, but
So spare us this.
I don't expect you guys to understand, but I hope you take into consideration that you can make a mistake and get better. And this isn't just a mistake, right? Like, this is breaking trust, but I realized what I did was wrong, and it's never gonna happen again. Doesn't mean it's okay.
Now let's get to the messages that he actually wrote to her, and let's see if this was just a lapse in judgment and a mistake, because it didn't seem like one to me. Let's get into it. So Landon wrote to this woman, "Are you still in Dallas?" She said, "Yeah, why?" Then he wrote, "Just wondering who all I know is still there. I just got back from London." Remember, sis said she was there. "In NYC Tuesday, then back in Dallas for a week. Do you have plans?" Does this sound like a mistake to y'all? Let's continue to watch him plan to cheat in real time. So now she responded, "Aren't you married?" Yes, that's a good question. And then he said, "No, plus looking for friends." Then she said, "Since when aren't you married?" See, that should have been a cue for him to be like, you know what? This woman's going to blow my spot. Let me get up out of here. But of course, he's dumb. And he's a man. Two bad combinations. Let's continue. Then Landon said, "Yeah, well, it's a complicated long-distance internet thing. But no, I'm not married, LOL. Not a normal life for sure." Wasn't the title of that Q&A video Q&A with my husband? Sis had that ring up in 4K, and this man sitting here talking about no, it's just an internet thing, as if she paid for him to be her man, as if he didn't stalk her in Athens. Then the woman responded, "So your whole relationship is fake?" Because she's confused. She's like, "Why are you messaging me, sir?" That's what it sounds like. Then he said, "No, it's not, but I'm not married. That part is not real." So you in a relationship and you expecting her to be the side chick, but she's asking questions. You want to know why sis is asking questions? And I love her. Thank you, girl. Because she's probing, because she wants to be able to expose him and send it to Liz, because she was not going to go up and meet him. Let's keep it real. We could already tell by the way that she's asking the questions. She's not answering him. She's just asking him more questions so he could incriminate himself. So she said, "What does that even mean?" Then he wrote, "Haha, do you want to see me? I can tell you in person." You see? Now he's realizing that she's not with the foolishness. Then she wrote, "I don't want to hang out with married men." I like this woman. This is how your responses should be. We don't have time to be side chick and home wreckers, not in this economy. "And I saw you wearing a wedding ring." Clock it, sis. He was. Then he continued. So remember, a mistake, right? He said, "Well, that's fair, but no, not married." Then sis showed him the receipt. She went to their videos or their Instagram or somewhere, and she showed him a picture with him holding up the ring, and she put a laughing emoji. Then he wrote, "Oh God, that's worn for the video," laughing emoji. He's still trying. "But never mind, it's complicated." Then she said, "Explain." "Yeah, I got time today. I need you to explain this to me." Yeah, because we need an explanation. What is this? I'm with sis. Why are you messaging me as a married man? And you don't even know if I'm a supporter of hers, because you sitting here just trying to be trifling. Let's look at his response to that. He said, "No, aha, never mind. I told you it's complicated. Not legally married. Maybe will be." So that's going to make a difference as to whether you have access to this young woman or not. because you're not legally married, then that means that you could go out and creep. And this is the man that she said is so intelligent and smart and highly emotionally intelligent. This man right here, the dummy. Sis said, either way, if you are in a relationship, you shouldn't be trying to hang out with girls. Then he responded, why were you going to come courtside with me then? Just curious, but your point is valid. Then she said, what's your point? You invited my boyfriend and I, and we never came. So sis has a man, and he's trying to get her to be as down low and dirty as he is. Then he responded, I didn't know you had a boyfriend at the time, and no, not trying to pull a fast one on you, LOL, was just curious. Then she said, but you said it yourself, you are in a relationship right now, so why are you trying to hang out with me? Then he answered, well, was not trying to date you, but you're right. Even if the situation is complicated or unresolved, I shouldn't message you. I am sorry. Maybe I'll explain more one day. As y'all can clearly see, this does not sound like a man who's apologetic and who made a mistake. And even if it was a mistake, it was still intentional. And the fact that he tried to gaslight the world to accepting his mediocre apology is appalling, because who does he think he's talking to? Kindergartners? First graders? Please. Continuing on, the whole situation that happened between him and the young lady on Snapchat was exposed. And they all thought that it was his ex-girlfriend that he dated a year prior by the name of Abby. Once Abby started getting messages and comments from other people trying to figure out if she was the girl on Snapchat, she decided to come out with her own story of her relationship with Landon. When I tell you she exposed this man, she exposed everything.
I was physically abused by this man. I was mentally abused by this man. I have no more shame anymore. There's thousands of women who have gone through what I've been through, plus worse things that's ever happened to them, and they can get out and tell their story. I have enough strength to tell mine.
Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for part 3 of this case study.